how can you create deeper sexual satisfaction in your life? I'm here with Angela Thurston from AngelaThurston.com, and I'm Kathy Martilli from theintimacydojo.com. And Angela, I want to know, how can we create greater sexual satisfaction in our lives?
Well, there are so many ways, Kathy. Um, well, the most important way that I found that's really become the foundation is understanding how you are erotically wired.
Interesting.
Because because we're all wired differently, right? But we have one sort of base model in our culture. And so if we don't fall into that, we tend to think perhaps there's something wrong with us or we're broken. But if we can really understand how we're wired, it is the access point in to having fulfilling sex, greater sex, whether it's solo sex or partner sex.
Yeah.
And particularly if your partner is wired differently than you.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I have all these questions because I love self-expression and like discovering ways where we can consciously understand what we like and don't like. So can you give us a couple examples of different erotic expressions?
Yeah, so what I'm referring to is the erotic blueprints. It's Jaya is the creator of the erotic blueprints, and it's the foundation of everything that I do because it is the starting point. So there's 5 different erotic blueprints. There's energetic, sensual, sexual, kinky, and shapeshifter.
Yeah. And if someone wanted to, I know there's a quiz that Jaya created. If they go to your website, can they take that quiz there?
I don't have the link on my website, but I can post it. I can send it to you, and
if you forward it to me, I'll put it down below. So if you're watching this video, just go down below, and the link will be there, so you can find out which one you are. And it really
excellent.
is insightful to understand. I love what type are you? It's it's even if I decide I'm not gonna it doesn't fit exactly like you said. There's shapeshifter people that are in different categories, different times.
Well, and the shapeshifter actually is a combination of all the blueprints. They like everything and they need everything.
Nice.
Right. And oftentimes they feel like they're too much. Right? Because all of...
That's a horrible feeling. Yeah.
Isn't it? I know. Because all of the blueprints have superpowers and then shadow aspects. So
Nice.
There's a lot of dynamic to it.
Yeah. And understanding that and just being aware of it is half the battle. And if your partner is a different, what's a couple tips, if you don't mind sharing a tip or two? What if your partner's a totally different type?
Well, I actually have that experience. Energetic kinky and my husband's sexual sensual. So for many years, right, we would try all these different things and, they'd work for a little bit, but they'd have no sustainability. So once we understood what our blueprint was, and then we learned, how do we feed it? How do we feed ourselves? How do we feed each other? Right? Because we tend to touch how we like to be touched, right? And if your partner is a sexual and you're an energetic, that type of touch is going to be totally different. So you learn how to feed each other. You learn how to speak the blueprint. You heal, and then ultimately you go into a place of expansion.
I love that. I think it's so useful. The 5 Love Languages, the book, even though the author is somewhat quite homophobic, the concepts are brilliant. If you don't know that you're different types and you keep expecting your partner to behave a certain way, there's all this frustration and feelings of powerlessness and they should and they're bad, as opposed to, oh, you're just different and I can let you know that I'm doing this act of service for someone who is a quality time person, or I can translate and also bridge across it. So I think that's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that reference because this is like the 5 love languages, but it's the 5 love languages of sexuality, which is way more juicy.
Definitely. So you're going to be speaking at ConvergeCon on pleasure mastery, how to create deeper, intimate connection and greater sexual satisfaction. How have you found that the intimacy and the sexuality are linked together? Or are they?
They are, because when you can communicate, when you know what it is that feeds you and lights you up, you have more tools to communicate that. And so it creates a different dialogue, not just inside the bedroom, but outside of the bedroom, right? Because our blueprints are apparent in all areas of our lives, right? In the way we engage with our friends, how we set up our home, how we engage in business. We're all gonna, it bleeds into all of that. It's like the central focus point. So it creates, first off, deeper understanding, so you can get to those places of forgiveness and letting go of resentment, because you don't know what you don't know till you know it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you can begin to communicate and laugh about the things that haven't worked in the past, or maybe some of the shadows that are coming up. You can catch yourself, and then you can get resourced so you can have an open, honest, self-responsible dialogue. And things just flow so much differently in a relationship. And then you can really get to deeper levels of trust, right? And surrender and vulnerability.
Yeah, I know. I love that. And I think it's really sad when I've had it happen to me, and I coach people around intimacy, and they're like, I love this person, but we're not getting fulfilled from each other anymore. So it's just kind of drying up and falling apart. And if you can learn how to help each other be filled, that seems like it would really nourish the relationship too.
Yes, exactly.
Can I ask, how did you get interested in this topic? Like, what brought you to this to begin with?
Well, after I had children, I had no sexual desire. So I began on a journey of healing, and ultimately first to rekindle my marriage, but then realizing that it wasn't just about my marriage, it was really about saving myself, right? Because I had depression, and I felt I had no purpose besides being a mother and a wife, and I was failing miserably at that because I was so unhappy. And then just really making the connection between this life force of sex and how that actually affects everything in our lives.
Oh, it's so core to our identity. Even if we were asexual, that's still core to our identity. Our sexuality is such a big impact. And if we distanced it or don't understand it or not connected to it, it takes a lot of the juice out of life, as you said.
It certainly does. Yeah. So then I just have been exploring it for, a long time now.
That's wonderful. I
Right?
love that. So you'll be speaking at ConvergeCon. Is this your first time there?
Second.
Oh, I met you there was it last year?
Yeah, last year.
That's right. So why are you looking forward to ConvergeCon this year?
Well, because it is a great group of people. I love that it's inclusive, it's sex positive. It's nourishing to be around people who are like-minded thinkers, because the topic of sexuality can be uncomfortable for many people. So in many instances, there's not a lot of just, whatever you're feeling and thinking about sex. Like, it's my favorite topic. And I have some friends who I can talk about it with, and obviously my husband. But at ConvergeCon, you get to dive into all these conversations. You get to learn about all kinds of things you had no idea about. And you get to support every single human in all their various choices. It's just a safe, nurturing, connecting place. And I get to share in hopes that perhaps what I know will create some positive, loving change in somebody else's life.
I love that. That's all we can ever do is help, we can kind of pay it forward and hope that it helps other people, because the world's a lot better place when people are happy and feeling satisfied and powerful. So,
that it is.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
What a place it would be. Yeah, and Vancouver's such a beautiful city too, so I'm really looking forward to it. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I'm really grateful for having this connection with you and this time and your contribution to our planet in making it a better, healthier, more accepting, loving place.
Oh, thank you. Well, I get to share beautiful information like what you have. If you're watching this and you have questions, please leave them below. I'll do my best to reach out to Angela, and if she has time, we'll jump on Skype and maybe answer them. So
yes, and we'll put the quiz.
They'll put the quiz below. Go ahead and take it. It's fun to geek out that way. So yeah, thanks so much, Angela, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Okay, thank you, Kathy.